It feels good to get back on track with a strong win from the Bulls against a good Hornets team, and more importantly, a huge win to finally see a guy like Nikola Vucevic have a big night and looking like the old Vuce we know and saw last season. The Bulls looked somewhat shaky to start, although it was great to see them coming out with energy and focus despite letting the Hornets get a little too many open looks. But as soon as the second quarter hit, the Bulls were locked in and executing on offense and hustling on defense, where they outscored the Hornets 35-27 in the second, and that trend continued into the third, where the Bulls have historically struggled this season. The Bulls had a dominant, fast-paced third quarter to where they actually led by as many as 23 points at one point, and then of course the fourth quarter happened, and the Bulls did what they do best in giving us Bulls fans heart attacks, reminiscent of some fourth quarter blown leads last season. And I believe there's actually been maybe one or two that's actually happened here this season, but to the point where a 23-point lead quickly dwindled to 4 points, and with more than half of the fourth quarter still remaining. But after a frustrated timeout by Billy Donovan, the Bulls responded nicely, coming out of that timeout with a run of their own and closed out what almost looked like a blown game. So let's talk about it in more detail. So what's going on, everyone? You are listening to Bulls Central here. Hope you're all doing well. Now, I know the Hornets just recently lost to the Rockets, like the Bulls did, but up until that loss, they had won 8 of their last 9 games. They're an energetic, quick, and athletic team that has balanced scoring, and so for the Bulls to walk away with this one in a statement win against a team they're going to be fighting with for seeding in the Eastern standings is a great sign. And it was also a good comeback win after having a tough loss against the Heat, in which they had the opportunity to walk away with a win in closing it out if they just maybe didn't turn the ball over so much in that game. And the Bulls came out with energy and effort from the get-go, not really deterred from that loss, but responding well and actually taking care of the ball in this one, holding themselves to only 10 turnovers for the game, and finally back to their pace and space and ball movement that I've said over and over again. They are significantly more successful when they are playing team basketball, having multiple players touch the ball on every possession, getting out quick in transition, setting up plays, and not having isolation basketball. The Bulls had 35 assists tonight, 35 assists, which I believe is a season high. And the Bulls have still yet to lose a game when they put up 30 or more assists. It also helps racking up those assists when you're actually knocking down your shots. The Bulls shot an incredible 60% from the field tonight and 47% from three. They missed a lot of their free throws though, which was odd, but in so many games this season, we've seen the Bulls miss easy buckets, and especially from the guy who had the best game of his season thus far, Nikola Vucevic. Vuce has really struggled on offense all season, missing easy buckets inside the paint, not shooting the three ball well, and overall just timid on the court with his shot attempts. But in tonight's game, Vucevic was the X factor. And I talked about this in my weekly preview video earlier this morning and how imperative it was for him tonight to have a big game because of the mismatches he would be facing going against the Hornets, who are smaller, and especially with no Mason Plumlee, the Bulls had to get Vuce involved, going inside, feeding him in the post, using him in the pick and roll and pick and pop, and they did exactly that. But even more impressive was Vuce's ability to spread the floor, which we know that he can do, but when he's shooting 26% from three so far this season, to see him hit every single three-point attempt he put up and going 6 for 6 was incredible. And that last one with the scream at the end, you know that he's just been waiting for his shots to finally start falling. And a game like this is just the boost of confidence that he needs, not only for himself, but for the rest of the team to finally see their star big man getting it going. Vuce finished the game with a team high of 30 points, 14 rebounds, and 5 assists. He was plus 31 in the night and was 12 for 19 from the field. He also had 2 big blocks to go along with that. I've said it before, and I actually tweeted about this earlier in the game. I don't think people realize how valuable a guy like Nikola Vucevic is to this team, and just how much more successful the Bulls can be when he's playing like that. For all those people who have been calling to trade for Vucevic for some bad games, you can't underestimate his impact as really one of the 2 players who actually give the Bulls some size. His ability to spread the floor, his elite rebounding, and underrated passing. People are always talking about who is the X factor on this team, and in my view, it's Vucevic, because when he's playing to the level we know he can be, combined with the elite scoring of DeRozan and Lavine, this team is going to be a formidable opponent in the league that is going to be a hard game for any team every night. Speaking of DeRozan, Lavine, and Vucevic, this was the second time this season in which all three scored over 20 points. DeRozan finished with 28 and Lavine with 25. Lavine didn't shoot the three ball that well, but what I liked seeing from him in this game was that he wasn't settling for the long ball as much since it wasn't going down for him. He was going more inside and being aggressive and getting to the hoop. He actually ended up going 10 for 18 from the field despite only shooting 2 for 7 from 3. He also had 6 rebounds and 5 assists to go along with his 25 points. DeRozan also shot the ball well, really everyone did tonight, but he went 12 for 20 and had some ridiculous mid-range jumpers late in the game that I thought had no chance of going in, but somehow he knocked them down. And of course, we also have to talk about the Battle of the Ball brothers, which I think we all know who won this first matchup between the two this season. Yes, LaMelo caught a bit of fire towards the end of the game, but up until the fourth quarter, Lonzo and Caruso had him completely locked up to the point where he couldn't even get shots off. He was still very effective in running the offense, which is what makes him such a good player and not only being a great scorer but also a great passer. Yes, LaMelo is the overall better player between the two when you look at their skills from top to bottom, but in this game, Lonzo didn't want to have any of that and making sure that his brother wasn't getting any easy looks. And conversely, Lonzo shot the ball incredibly well, and of course, he had that dagger corner 3 at the end of the game, which sent the Hornets packing. Lonzo shot 4 for 5 from 3 tonight. He finished the game with 16 points and 8 assists and won the first battle between the Ball brothers for this season anyway. There will be more now that both are in the Eastern Conference. And how about the bench mob tonight, coming in with energy in the second quarter that ignited the Bulls to start, taking that lead and setting the tone from there. You have to give a ton of credit to Alex Caruso, who has really been one of the Bulls' most consistent players all year. He finished the game with 14 points and 7 assists. You can't say enough about this guy and the fact that you know what you're going to expect from him on a night in and night out basis. Coby White, not the best game, but he did have a big 3, which was the only 3 he made, and that was in the fourth quarter. And the Bulls desperately needed that when the Hornets started to make a bit of a run. Coby is still figuring things out. Like I said, we're going to have to give him some time. It hasn't even been 10 games yet since his return to the lineup, but man, I would love to see Ayo get some more run, just because whenever he has gone in, he's been instantly impactful to the group in just the limited minutes that he plays. What's also great about winning this game is that now the Bulls finally have a bit of a break in what seemed like so many games consolidated in a short period of time, mixed with traveling across the country. The Bulls are going to be off until Thursday, where they'll take on the Knicks in New York. I'll have a video out tomorrow. It's actually going to be a dedicated video to Alex Caruso. I've been meaning to make this one for a while now, so be on the lookout for that. And of course, don't forget we've got hot takes on Wednesday, so get your Bulls hot takes in as well in the comments. Until then, I hope you all have a great evening. Be sure to subscribe if you're a Bulls fan, as I do post daily Bulls content. Thanks again for tuning in, guys, and I will catch you in the next one.